The reason, yeah, until you know the value of something, the value of a thing, you will not appreciate it. The reason I'm saying this is because um, many people don't know the value or how important it is to be able to develop communication skills. And I say this to you, um, if you are intelligent and you cannot communicate your idea, and someone who is not as intelligent as you are, but can communicate his or her ideas, right? That person will be getting the attention, getting the opportunity, and is going to be receiving all the accolades and invitation just because of word, just because they are able to communicate, articulate their thoughts effectively and communicate them in a way that it makes sense, right? So people will sum you up within the very first 5 seconds that you open your mouth to speak. They will know whether there's something up here or not. And that's why it's very important for you as an individual to first of all know that you see, I've met some rich people who are afraid to deliver a speech, to speak in public. And you can imagine that your daughter, many years, you can imagine that your daughter is graduating and then, or doing something, and then you as a father or as a mother or your son, and then you're being called upon to give a toast or to give a speech, and you don't know how to do it. You're scared, you're shy. Imagine such an embarrassment as a year. The more you become successful, the more people are going to be beckoning on you to come and share your knowledge. And that's when you will begin to know that without public speaking, you really skills, you really cannot do so much. Now, I'm building this foundation so you understand that public speaking skills is a need and not a want. I said that again. Public speaking skills, it's a need and not a want. Needs are things that you really need, you that are important that you can't do without them in life. Water, shelter, food. These are needs. Public speaking skills, it's a need and not a want. Want are things naturally that you wish to have, but probably you don't necessarily need them to live your life. Like without them, you can still live your life. You want private jet, you want Rolls Royce, but if you don't have them now, your life still move on. But if you don't have water to drink, if you don't have shelter over your head, so categorize public speaking as one of those things that you need in life. Because you see, when you are there are some opportunities that will come to you in life just because you are able to tell your stories. I know a lot of young people that are able to they've benefited from a lot of programs for US, for Canada, for UK, just because of what? Because of how they are able to tell their stories. Now, I give you an example, and two people had an ugly experience. Two ladies had an ugly experience while growing up. Maybe they were raped or something like that. And but then one was able to turn that story and was able to communicate that story, effectively with the word. And because of that, she's getting all the support she needs. And why one is not able to do so, and that person is able to live in fear, living in denial, and all of that. Now, you see, the first time I was asked to deliver a speech in public, I ran away. And that's because I was scared. I didn't know what to do, so I ran away. But developing the skills is daily, not in a day. It's not something you just wake up and then you become a professional at. It's something that you develop, daily. But the conscious effort and the willingness to do so is the first requirement. The first requirement, understanding the value, how important it is the first thing to guide us towards even um, towards going into public speaking, right? I have courses that I've developed on public speakings to also that are helping a lot of people. I've taken that course, to be able to improve their public speaking skills. From time to time, you're going to be invited to speak. But the first thing and the first place to start is usually um, speaking, trying to speak for free, trying to take up opportunity to the desire to impart life. As a public speaker, first of all, you must be able to have a message, your area, the area that you want to be known for. Is it women empowerment? Is it youth empowerment? Is it on technology? Is it on something else? Every messenger must have a message, right? So that, and then you now grow on that area of specialty. You must be able to, first of all, find, let's say, you're an entrepreneur. Maybe you want to start teaching people from based on the things that you're doing. When I was in school many years ago, I used to go to the school, even pray with people. People then were even calling me pastors and all of that, right? But I never knew that I was developing a powerful skill. It was when after I finished school that I now, instead of looking for a job, I registered my first organization then, the Speakers Academy. And then I started training people. I produced the workbook then, and I still have a book. So on public speaking, why am I saying this? Look at something that started as a free, as something I started doing for free, and now you, I get to do it for a fee. It's my interest you to know that for you to invite Vusi to speak at your event today, Vusi charges, because the last week or last 2 weeks, we sent an email trying to invite Vusi for 1 hour section for Vusi to come to Nigeria. Guess what? The requirement there we saw was over $40,000 for 1 hour. For John Maxwell to come to your event anywhere in the world is $250,000. Somebody will say, what will they tell us? It's not about the talk, it's about the person who is talking. So there's a level where you get to in life as a man or woman, you realize that the demand for your time can be so expensive because everybody wants to come and fixed on what you know. But getting to that point, it takes time. It's not something you just wake up and then you start doing. So let's talk about stage fright, which is usually the first thing. The fear of public speaking is the beginning of wisdom. So now, this thing about the fear of public speaking is more or less like when a man wants to propose to a lady, a beautiful lady. There's this butterfly in your belly. That fear, whether she will say yes or no. All right, just a moment, please. So when a man wants to propose to when a man, give me a minute, please. So when a man wants to propose, when a man wants to propose to a lady, there's always this fear of whether she's going to say no or yes. That's the same level of fear you experience when you are being called upon to speak in public. As a matter of fact, every great speaker you know today or you can think of, right? They still experience that moment of butterfly in my belly. And the question is, this fear of public speaking, is this something that is this something that you need to kill? No, you can't kill that fear because that fear is the sign that you're about to do something great. As a man who's trying to propose to a lady, you're about to do something great. So the moment you want to go to the stage and then you begin to feel like butterfly in your tummy, it's a sign to show that you're about to do something great. Now, here is one of the things you need to know. So you can't overcome that fear of speaking in public, that butterfly in your belly, that fear. It's always going to be there. But mastering or knowing what to do in order to reduce that anxiety moment is where knowledge comes in. Knowledge is an acquisition of information And information is a journey into discovery. So the more you know, the more edge you have. So that's why it's called knowledge. That's why it's called knowledge. So from moving from the time where I used to be scared about speaking in public to a time where I speak to thousands of people. And public speaking, it's a tool that we use to communicate. So mastering that skill has a great reward. So there is wisdom in knowing that you cannot eliminate the fear of public speaking. It will always be there. Now, if I receive any invitation right now to speak before presidents or prime ministers or prime minister or top government officials or top captains of industry, that fear will always be there. Oh my God, this is a big opportunity. Now, here is one key thing that is going to help you, especially if you are still a novice speaker or still experiencing stage fright. The first thing we have to do is to work on your mind, because that's the center of everything. That's where the conversation happens, right? Now, one good thing you need to do is to begin to see the stage as your friend, not as your enemy. You always somehow be scared of your enemy, right? You'll be scared of your enemy, but you can never be scared of your friend. Come on. So you have to type, the stage is my friend. Type it in the comment section. The stage is my friend. Type it, type it, type it, type in the chat box. The stage is my friend and not my enemy. Just the same way, right? As when you want to go see your friend, you are not scared of going to see your friend. But you will always be scared when you are going to meet, when your enemy calls you and says, let's have a meeting. You will first of all make your own safety plan. The stage is my friend. So that's the first thing towards mental reconstruction. The stage is my friend. So the same way, if I'm going to see my friend, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be scared. I'm going to be excited that I'm going to meet a friend. But when you see the stage as your enemy, you will always be scared. So that first interpretation, we have to first um, manage and construct a positive approach towards how we see the stage. That's the first thing. So when you begin to see the stage as a friend, what that means is that when you receive an invitation to speak on stage, you are going to meet what? You're going to meet your friend. So it has a way of creating a psychological safety that makes sure that your brain don't shut down. I've seen people get to the stage and literally forget everything. Like it has happened before. It has also happened to me many years ago. You will get to the stage and your brain will shut down. And some people will start looking at the back of the stage without looking at the audience. Now, that's why it's very important for you to, first of all, leverage on small opportunities to develop yourself, because you don't train on stage. Stage is where you deliver. Backstage is where we do what? Preparation. Now, a few things you can do is, number one, with technology today, you can actually start going live sections to do. There was someone that I was actually, I did a coaching section to, and one of the tasks that I gave, I said, you must have to start doing live section. If what you do is to go there and be mentioning people name. John, thank you for joining today. Oh, Mark, I see you. Oh, Israel, you are here. How are you doing today? Before you know what's happening, 30 minutes is over. Right? But what you're doing is that you are doing what you are taking a step towards improving your skill. And the next day, you're going to come and you'll probably find a topic you can discuss for a few minutes. And like I said, growth is daily, not in a day. Sometimes when I look back at my life, I can literally tell you that I wasn't this person 20 years ago. And I will not be this person 20 years from today. It's not possible, because by what you're doing today, you can predict your future. I work day and night just to make sure that I'm improving myself. And that's why I am not going to be apologetic by how much I charge or by how much I demand from people because of what I've also invested so much in myself. Is the principle of seed time and harvest time, right? So managing stage and stage fright starts with you, first of all, creating a psychological safety in your mind by what? Changing the narrative. Instead of seeing the stage as your enemy, you will always be scared when you are going to meet an enemy, but you always be happy and excited when you are going to see a friend. So having established that, right, those are some of the things that you can do to be able to do what? To be able to create psychological safety. Now, like I said before, every messenger must have a message, and that's why you must have to find an area and dwell there. And so I've been to events where somebody is introducing another person to me about me, and then he said, "Oh, here is Dr. Jamie Pajoel. He's a global leadership, blah, 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 blah." I never for once tell this individual, "Oh, I'm into this, I'm into that," right? But by the work that I do that people see out there, they are able to create an introduction on my behalf. And what that also means is that when you find an area, let's say if you want to dwell on technology, if you want to dwell on AI, if you want to dwell on women topics or business entrepreneurship, just find your area of special of your area of strength zone, and then begin to develop yourself within that area. And what that means is that with time, you will be able to find yourself easy to speak, and it will also be makes it easy for people to, when they are looking for who to invite on a particular area, your name will just come up, right? So every messenger must have a message. Okay, so mine's leadership. So anything that around leadership and human capital development, soft skills, people call me for it. I train organizations. I did a training last week for an organization here in Canada. So, and more are still coming. And that's because of what? Because I've built a brand that can easily resonate with people. And when they're looking for a particular individual who can do, who has the requisite experience to deliver, to drive a constructive conversation on a particular subject, they are able to reach out to you, right? So every messenger must have a message. And in as much as somehow you can, as an individual, you are supposed to know everything about something and something about everything, right? What that means is that you're supposed to know a little bit of things so that when it comes up in a conversation, you are able to share or contribute to it, make a positive contribution. But what it also means is that you must have that area that when people call you anytime, any day, wake you up in the middle of the night and said, "We are doing this," you will jump on it without even doing what? Without even making any research or preparation. I can hold an audience for 5 hours without using PowerPoint and I'll still make sense. Again, this comes with years of experience, right? And that thing, if you're not a Christian here, I'm just going to use it for emphasis sake. It said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. What that simply means is that you must become a custodian of knowledge. You must become a student of learning. You must learn so much as you can, so that you don't get to opportunity to present, to speak on stage, and then you are running your PowerPoint as if without that PowerPoint you would die. So the reason it's called PowerPoint is that it's designed to give power to your points. That's not supposed to be your entire presentation, like you put up your PowerPoint and then you begin to read from slide word to word. No, that's not going to make you a great and incredible speaker. What makes you an incredible speaker is that you are able to read the topic and then you are able to explain it without reading word to word what is written on the PowerPoint. Am I making sense to you? Are you learning anything at all today? If you're learning, type, I am learning. All right. So that preparation that you must have to do, I've explained you finding your voice, which is basically means finding. I said every messenger must have a message, right? So finding your message is very, very key. It's very, very key. That's where it starts from. And then you can now begin to learn and begin to practice and begin to grow on that subject area that you have identified to be something that resonates with your purpose, something that you want to see. There are some people that you know, uh, people who can speak on technology, people who can speak on governance, people who can speak on business and entrepreneurship. So you must be able to find your voice. In this case, finding your voice means finding your message, right? So I've established the fact that stage fright is not something you can eliminate, but it's something that you can manage, knowing how to. Most times, when you watch some of these great speakers, Grant Cardone, John Maxwell, and some of these big global leaders, before they go to the stage, if only you see what happens behind the scene, sometimes they get to do some exercises, and before they introduce them, sometimes they get to do some warm-up, and they take water and all of that. They are doing all of those things, right? Because they are going out there to face crowd. All right. And in the same manner, in the same order, that 5 minutes before you are being introduced, first, remember you are going to see a friend. Secondly, you must be able to create that psychological safety within you. One thing that has enabled me to that today I can face any crowd, like I can face any crowd and deliver excellently. There's no stage on earth that Jamie Pajoel, cannot stand. Nowhere before president, nobody that I cannot stand and make a president. Within 5 minutes, I will communicate and close deals. So communication, this public speaking thing, whether you're a business person, you need the skills, because there's a training I used to do for organization, which is called business presentation. Basically teaches you how do you make, especially for those, let's say you submit proposal and they call you to come and present. That's when you know that public speaking is important. That's when you know that it's not just a skill that is meant for speakers. No, as a business person, you want to make money. They're going to ask you to tell us about your business, and you start saying then lack of confidence in yourself is going to make others to also doubt you more. But there's the way you even show up. See, the way you show up matters a lot, because if you show up confidently, right, it has a way to show that you know what you're doing. So whether you are doing public speaking in order to use it and build up your brand and build up your career, or you are a business person, you are an employer or an employee, you need public speaking skills. That's why in secondary school, like you say things like debates, that's assertiveness. It's a great to have, because of what? Because it gives you the power to influence, to change ideology, to drive people and move people from one point to another. It makes super sense when you are using that skills for positive things. Some of those people that you see that are able to drive people into committing crimes or going on a suicidal mission, what do you think that they used to do? It's communication, because communication gives you that power to impact individuals positively or negatively. But what I'm teaching you here today is how to use that power to influence and change lives in a positive ways, right? So whether you are a novice speaker, you're dealing with that fear. Remember, I said you can never eliminate it. you can only reduce it. Now, one of the things that can boost your confidence, there are a few things that can boost your confidence as a leader or as a public speaker. Number one, it's your being grounded. You see, some people are so wide and thin, but you need to be deep and grounded. What that means is that if you call me anytime, any day to be able to deliver a speech or deliver a training for corporate organizations, which is what I do, I'm confident enough to go and do it because that's what I've been doing for years. That's what I've been doing for years. I can do it anytime, anywhere with ease. So that knowledge enough is empowering. In other words, knowing your onions is very key. Understanding your message is very key because public speaking is a tool used to convey something. Public speaking is not the message. Does that make sense? So public speaking is not the message. Public speaking is a tool that you use to drive and convey your message to your audience. So if you have the two and you don't have the message, you're not grounded in your message, you are good. The tools cannot deliver you on stage. So understanding, having clarity of your message is very, very important, right? Because once you're grounded, you know your message. Understanding, once you master how to use the tool, then it becomes easier for you to deliver and convey your message to your people, right? So please, as I am taking this section, because I want it to be practical, if you have any question, please, you can be using the comment section, the chat box, to drop in your question so I can pick it up and answer it immediately. Because of my time, I may not have time to special time for Q&A. So as I'm running this section, if you have any question, just drop it in the chat box and then I'll pick it up and respond to it, all right? So now we have talked about a stage fright. There's some other things. Like I said, this is not something that we can just talk about. It's not something that we just talk about only to today and then you become a master. No, that's why there are resources everywhere. There are resources on YouTube. There are resources, there are books, there are videos, there are classes, right? I have also public speaking skills. I'm sure OT also have his own. So you can leverage and lay your hands on some of these resources and use it to continue to learn, right? Now you have to do something that I call personal conversation, like self-talk. I do that a lot. And sometimes you see, before I deliver my message to the crowd, I've delivered that message when nobody's watching. Before I deliver any message to my audience, be it virtually or physically, I would have delivered that message mentally, visualized myself on stage talking to people. So when I get to the stage, I'm only repeating what I have already finished. So it makes it easier. So I imagine a lot, mental imagination. You see yourself standing on before people, and then uh, 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 um, you are delivering that message. You are talking about your topic, how you're gonna go to the stage, introduce yourself. All of those things happens, imaginations of the mind. It helps to also create psychological safety so that when you are actually now doing the actual thing on stage, it looks like you've done it before. And the brain has a way of picking things we've done before and creates a psychological safety that makes it puts us at ease and reduces anxiety. Okay, someone said sometimes you are not given time to study. How will you start speaking? So I'm trying to understand your question. Sometimes you're not given time to study. How will you How will you start your speaking? So basically, um, your invitations most times will come based on what people think that you can that you are good at. Let's say you make shoes and then somebody inviting you to come and talk about you how you make shoes and all of that, or you're a fashion designer and somebody wants you to come and share your experience, right? Literally, your experience, you can wake up, if they wake you up, if they wake me up anytime, any day to share my experience. Like I don't need to literally study anything to share that experience. So it depends on the kind of invitation that you are getting. So let me give you an example. If an organization wants to invite me to train, they wouldn't just send me an invitation today and then send me my topic or today or make a request today. No, there probably will be processes like they sending requests and we getting back to them and all of that. So all those time we agree on a topic, and when the training is gonna come up, then you're definitely gonna have time, right, to study, right? There are some times whereby, let's say if it's an impromptu speech or topic, or maybe you're somewhere and then they're just doing this thing and this, everybody just say something and all of that. Then it depends on what they're being what is being discussed. And please, if you ever find yourself in the boardroom where everybody is required to contribute their opinion, never you say, I go with what Mr. John said. It's an it's an indication to say to show that you know nothing. When you find yourself in the boardroom, in the meeting room, where everybody is required to give a contribution on a subject matter, never you say, I agree with what. No, even if you agree, you must say something, say your own, because it's a way to shy away from what? From saying something. It shows that you literally don't have anything to say, right? Even if you agree with what somebody have said, don't just say, I go with what this person has said. Next, no, even if you agree with what Mr. A have said, Mr. A said, make sure that you are also contributing something on your own. Okay. So we have next question. What is the best way to start a presentation? Fantastic. There are so many ways to start presentations. You can start with there's something called rhetorical question. It's a question that you ask without expecting audience to respond, right? Time will not permit us to go into those details. You can start. You can start with a story. In fact, there are ways your introduction, the duration for your introduction, because every speech is divided. In my public speaking, this thing, there's a model that where I discussed about speech structure. How do you structure your speech? Every speech is supposed to have three parts: body, introduction, body, and conclusion. Now, there's this approach that I developed many years ago. Introduction. I said, tell them. Introduction, tell them. So introduction is basically unveiling what you are going to be discussing, right? Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to be with you today. My name is Dr. Jamie Pajoel, and today we're going to be discussing, you mentioned your topic and the objectives. That's introduction. So I came up with a system that said, tell them what you just told them, and then tell them. Write it down. Tell them. Tell them what you just told them, and then tell them. Tell them. Number one is tell them. Number two is tell them what you just told them. Number three is tell them. All right. So tell them, number one, is about introduction. Tell them what you just told them. Number two, which is number two, it's about the body of the message. Remember, your introduction, you unveiled the topic and what you're going to be discussing and how it's going to help them. At the end of this section, you're going to understand how to use AI to improve, to drive job performance. Now, the body of the message, you are now telling them how to use AI to drive performance, right? In your conclusion, which is tell them, right? You are reminding what you just told them. Today, we have discussed about how to use AI to improve performance, and we were able to look at XYZ. So that tell them it's about introduction. Tell them what you just told them. It's about the body of the message, and they'll tell them it's about your conclusion. So every speech must have these three structure: introduction, body, and conclusion. Introduction, body, and conclusion. Introduction, body, and conclusion. Introduction, you tell them. Body, you tell them what you just told them. In conclusion, you tell them, right? Now, introduction, there are so many ways you can start your message. You can start with story. You can start with statistics. Make sure that it's something that aligns with your topic. Do you know that averagely XYZ number of people? So you're starting with statistics. You can start with a story. Let's talk about Carl. Carl is a fantastic manager who is never late at work, but nobody wants to be around him. When people are assigned to Carl's team, their motivation invariably goes down. Carl knows how to turn an employee into someone who no longer wants to come to work. You see, I'm telling a story about Carl, right? So there are many ways you can start your speech. Like I said, there are so many materials, things that time will not permit us to be able to go into today. But I believe that with this few point of mine, you are able to start your journey, because the journey to becoming an incredible, powerful, compelling public speaker starts with what, like I said, you understanding the value of developing the value of such skills. A stone you don't recognize, a gold you don't recognize will look like a stone. If you don't know the value of developing public speaking skills, you will never see why it's important for you to develop such, right? I've had the opportunity to be invited into so many places, enter so many rooms, that it wasn't just because of it was just because of what, because the people or someone saw the skills or enjoyed my training, and then brought in another opportunity for me to be able to do what, for me to be able to impart life, train people, and all of that. We have a question here saying, does speaking depend on the environment, occasion you are called to speak? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, not every invitation, um, your dress code also matters. So the nature of the event, the nature of the occasion, we require, um, we require the kind of topics, and even the way you will present. So you must have to do what is called audience analysis. So these are the things that I've already kind of captured in my public speaking certificate training, and which you have to do audience analysis, audience demography. What is the strength of these people? So you have to analyze your audience. What's their age grade? What's their earning capacity? Are there young people? So take, for instance, if you're called to speak to teenagers, you must be able to dress very simple. You don't have to put suit and tie and all of that. Dress very simple to connect with them. If it's if it's a red, if they said, if the occasion said black tie, you shouldn't wear native to go there. All right. So every occasion we require the kind of, even the choice of your mode of delivering, and how you are able to, even your choice of topic and how you deliver the message is going to, it also matters. So if you're called to speak to teenagers or kids, you don't want to go there and start using statistics, right? So what you want to do is to start with a story, because story resonates with the mind. Okay, so is speaking about speed? No, speaking is not about speed, but you are able to you are able to articulate. There's something called voice modulation. My God, there's so much to talk about. There's so much to talk about. There's something called voice modulation. Voice modulation teaches you how to control your pitch, how to control your voice range. So it's not about just you speaking. No, you're not running anywhere. It's about communicating So you must observe, know when to pause. These are the things that training will expose you to. Like I said again, it's not just something you were gonna learn with just this one section, right? I developed about 10, I think 10 models. So you have like audience analysis is a topic on its own. Speech structure, it's a topic on its own. Stage fright is a topic on its own. And like I said again, I'm sure that Otis also have he has written a book and all of that. So lay your hand. There are also so many materials you can find useful on YouTube. Okay. So somebody say, how do I develop my voice? Basically develop your natural voice. Don't try to imitate someone so that you don't sound like a broken CD, right? But you can develop your own voice and be yourself, being able to speak audibly in such a way that people can hear you, but not shouting. No, not shouting. Today, I'm going to tell you. People will like, if you do that in developed nation, they will call 911 for you because it means that something is wrong with you. All right. So, develop your natural voice is the key. And also, when you go through that voice training, you'll be able to understand how to control your voice and pitch, when to observe pause when speaking. So there's a lot to learn, and this is just an introduction into probably what autism have in mind for you people. Let's say your message is for teenagers, but you are invited to grown-ups. What should you do? First of all, it's every invitation, you must have to, you're the one that have the power. So if you don't have a message for grown-ups, for corporate, let's say right now your message is for teenagers, and then somebody's inviting you to train to speak to corporate executives. If it's not your area of strength and if you can't deliver, decline. Instead of you going there to make a mess of yourself, you can decline, or you can recommend someone, right? You can recommend someone. If someone coming right now to come and speak to children, is I can do that, but that's not really my own call. Every individual, as you must understand the purpose and the people you are called to serve. I have a lot of people that deals with teenagers. I can recommend them. I don't have to say yes to every invitation. I don't have to say yes to every invitation. Is it important for impromptu speaking? Impromptu speaking is key. Elevator speech is key. Let's say you meet someone. I've delivered within 5 minutes. I closed deals of 300 million there within 5 minutes. I kid you not. God bear me witness. See, the more you get better at communication. The more you be good at impromptu speaking, right? I've been to an event where the speakers arrived late. I met the organizers. This was probably 2013. I met the organizers and I introduced myself. And I said, why we wait for your guests? I can I can speak to your people. And that was how at the end of the day, right, I became one of the speakers to an event that I was not invited to speak as a speaker, right? So when you have something within you, somehow you are hungry to be given a platform to be able to express what you know. All right, so Otis, I think we're gonna be calling it a day here. I'm looking forward to probably next time that we can be able to have this opportunity. And for those of you here, if you want to enroll into my public speaking, please, class, you can meet up with OT. And if OT also have one, please, I recommend you enroll for his own. And also, if you also want to enroll into my, reach out to him. Rest assured that because of him, you're going to get a very good discount. Like I said, again, there are so many resources on YouTube. I think one of the problem we have with our generation these days, is that we're suffering with information overload, right? We have so many resources out there, and that sometimes people don't even know which one to lay their hands on, right? And that's why it's also important for you to have people who can guide you, right? But whether you're paying for classes, whether you are using YouTube, just make sure you are growing and you're developing your public speaking skills. All right. So thank you so much, everyone. I hope that with this viewpoint of mine, I have been able to convince you and not confuse you that developing your public speaking skills, it has a great reward. Okay, someone say, please answer my question. Okay, what's your question? I need idea of what to ask. What's your question, please? So you said, can we please know the types of speaking and their importance and why we should master them? So public speaking takes different dimensions. So you have corporate events, you have social events. You can be invited maybe to do an opening speech as a keynote speaker, or you're invited to give a vote of thanks. You're still doing public speaking, right? You can't really say right now and say these are the things that you are going to experience in life, because sometimes as you grow in influence, people might be reaching out to you to learn from your wealth of experience. I think the most important thing you need to do is understanding the rudiment of public speaking, those tools from overcoming stage fright, speech structure, audience analysis, right? Understanding body language. If you are speaking to a group of people and then you just fold your hands like this, it makes no sense. If you are speaking to people and you put your hand in your pocket, it's disrespectful. So these are ethics that governs public speaking, that as you master them, like I say, public speaking is a tool. The real message is what you're going to be asked to deliver. So I think most important is, instead of you trying to focus on different kinds of events that you are going to be invited at to speak, I think you should focus on mastering the tools, right? The tools that will enable you to deliver your message. Okay. All right. Otis, thank you so much for this opportunity, and I look forward to creating more time. Hopefully sometimes next month I can do that for you, OT. Can have another section with them. So if the time you created for them wasn't covered, we can have another section for maybe next month. I will let you know. All right. So thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure to share with you people from my word of experience, and God bless you all.
Wow, wow, wow. Tonight was more like a fire. I want to say thank you so, so very much, Dr. Jim Pajoel, the global mentor and leader walking in destiny. With so much respect, I want to say thank you.